A royal wedding ends, and suddenly the kingdom starts watching your body like a clock. In the Spanish Habsburg line, inbreeding tied to stillbirths and dead heirs, and when Charles II failed, the dynasty collapsed. So why was an inbred princess blamed when genetics broke the crown? Let's see why it mattered for power heirs and survival of empires then. She was born into a royal family that married its own blood. She arrives in the world with a crown already waiting for her and a problem already sealed into her body. The crown shines in gold and silk while the problem stays hidden inside her blood. Her birth takes place around 1650 inside a palace ruled by the Habsburg family. On paper, her family history looks powerful and impressive, filled with kings of Spain, emperors in Vienna, and queens scattered across Europe. On a genetic chart, that same history looks twisted and tight, more like a knot than a tree. Across 16 generations, cousins marry cousins, uncles marry nieces, and the same names repeat until the lines almost overlap. A modern study of the Spanish branch shows the inbreeding coefficient rising from 0.025 under Philip I to 0.254 under Charles II of Spain, which equals the genetic result of a brother and sister having a child. Growing up inside this dynasty means she is surrounded by relatives whose inbreeding numbers pass 0.20, meaning more than 20% of their genes likely come from identical copies inherited from both parents. Any modern genetic counselor would panic at that number. Inside her palace, ministers smile at it because shared blood keeps crowns united and borders quiet. Another Habsburg princess, Maria Antonia of Austria, later reaches an estimated coefficient of 0.3053, higher than what is expected from full siblings. That single number explains how close to collapse this family balance has become. Inside her nursery, nobody speaks the word inbreeding. Adults prefer phrases like keeping the blood clean, protecting the house, and shielding power from outsiders. Each marriage contract that links uncle to niece or double first cousins makes the political map look calmer, while the family's gene pool shrinks further. Historians and geneticists later describe the Habsburgs as a laboratory to study the effect of human inbreeding. For her, life feels less like a study and more like a script she never chose to perform. At her baptism, courtiers celebrate her ancestry as a gift from God. Nobody admits that the same ancestry quietly stacks the odds against her health long before she can speak. That hidden cost begins to show itself early. Her first real birthday present is not a jewel or a toy. It is a fever that keeps coming back. She lived with weak health and constant sickness from childhood. She learns the smell of medicine before she learns her letters. The sound of the court doctor's steps becomes more familiar than the laughter of playmates. From the very start, her body refuses to match the painted image of royal strength hanging on palace walls. Letters from the Spanish court describe children born from these unions suffering seizures, endless infections, and frightening fevers. One small prince, Felipe Prospero, son of Philip IV, and his niece Mariana of Austria, survives only 4 years while enduring repeated illness and epilepsy, conditions observers later connect to generations of close kin marriage. Her childhood follows the same pattern, with winter coughs that last until spring, infections that refuse to clear, and exhaustion that keeps her near the fire while other children ride and play. Doctors of her time do not understand ideas like immune disorders or recessive genes. They speak instead of bad humors and weak temperaments. Their treatments only deepen her misery, with bloodletting, harsh purges, and bitter liquids forced between clenched teeth. Each so-called cure leaves her weaker. Royal physicians also suggest pilgrimages and holy objects, so her mother orders processions, fasting days, and special prayers. When her strength briefly returns, everyone praises the saints. When sickness returns again, they blame the stars. Modern historians studying medical records of Spanish Habsburg children see clear patterns: delayed growth, frequent early death, epilepsy, and unexplained organ failure. For a royal daughter, every sick day carries extra danger. A weak prince threatens the future throne. A weak princess threatens marriage plans. Servants whisper when she struggles to recover. Tutors shorten lessons when she fades after a few pages. Court ritual never pauses. She attends Mass while dizzy. She smiles at foreign envoys while pain crawls through her joints. Official records describe her as in good health because the dynasty cannot accept another fragile child. The truth settles deep in her bones and follows her into her teenage years. As she grows older, sickness stops being her only burden. Her face begins to change, and the court notices. She had visible physical abnormalities that court studied like a mirror. Her portrait looks noble at first glance and disturbing at the second. The crown rests perfectly. Her jaw does not. As she matures, her face starts to echo her ancestors in a way painters across Europe recognize instantly. Her lower jaw pushes forward, her chin stretches outward, and her lips struggle to close fully. Her teeth fail to meet properly, making eating slow and speaking tiring. Centuries later, researchers study portraits of 15 Habsburg rulers, scoring their faces for mandibular prognathism, known as the Habsburg jaw, and maxillary deficiency. They compare those scores to known inbreeding levels and find a clear link. Higher inbreeding means more severe deformity. In daily life, that connection feels painfully real. Food cools while she works to chew. Courtiers pretend not to notice, yet their eyes slide away when she turns sideways. Portrait sessions stretch for hours. Painters soften her angles, shorten the chin, and lift the mouth. Paint allows gentle lies. A polished silver mirror does not. These features do more than shape her appearance. A misaligned jaw makes swallowing difficult, causes constant pain, and disrupts sleep. Modern doctors note that several Habsburg royals struggle to eat or speak due to severe jaw structure. She knows that struggle well. Formal banquets leave her drained. Public readings feel like battles against her own mouth. In a world where rulers see beauty as proof of divine approval, a warped jaw raises quiet religious fear. Has God begun to mark this family's decline on their children's faces? No one says it openly in front of her, yet she hears it in pauses, looks, and half-finished sentences. What the court sees first is her face. What it discovers later is how much harder learning and memory become. She faced developmental struggles that made royal life harder. Her tutors slow their pace when she reads aloud. Her brothers move ahead, and the distance grows every year. Accounts of several Habsburg royals describe delayed development that today points to neurological damage. Charles II does not speak clearly until around 4 years old and cannot walk on his own until nearly 8, struggling with movement and speech for the rest of his life. Other relatives experience epilepsy and learning difficulties described politely as simple or delicate. She fits that pattern. Reading takes effort. Prayers stick only after repetition. Under pressure, facts slip away. Complicated political lessons overwhelm her, while music and needlework feel safer. In another household, patience might help. Inside a ruling family, every hesitation carries weight. Ambassadors compare royal children the way traders judge animals. A slow prince weakens alliances. A struggling princess looks unfit to manage a future court. Modern science explains what her world cannot. Inbreeding increases the chance that a child receives 2 copies of harmful genes, many affecting brain growth, coordination, or learning. She never hears those explanations. She only knows she feels slower, more tired, and more anxious than her cousins from less tangled families. Court life demands perfection. She must dance, remember names, and hold conversations under watchful eyes. When she falters, adults exchange glances. Advisors worry about her value. Priests speak about tests of faith. Nobody dares point to the family's marriage habits. Her childhood becomes a constant adjustment between what is expected and what she can manage. She repeats names quietly, marks her books, and watches others before she moves. Those habits help her survive public life, yet they cannot stop people from treating her body and mind as objects to inspect. That scrutiny grows sharper once she reaches the age when marriage becomes her main purpose. She was treated like a curiosity instead of a person. Courtiers describe her with the same careful detail they use for relics. Chroniclers record her body as if she were an exhibit. Royal children always draw attention, but those born visibly different attract something colder. Modern writers fixate on the Habsburg jaw because the dynasty offers such a clear warning. Her contemporaries feel the same pull. Her body becomes a symbol of the house's strength or decay. Visitors describe her walk, her skin, her voice in letters sent across borders. Some words show kindness. Others turn her into a warning. A Venetian envoy praises her devotion while noting her unfortunate profile. A French diplomat calls her noble yet fragile, signaling doubts about future children. These reports turn into gossip and then into policy. Inside the palace, manners protect and trap her. Everyone stays polite. Everyone also knows her entire medical history through rumor. When she enters a room, she enters already judged. Centuries later, geneticist Francisco Ceballos calls Europe's royals a laboratory to study the effect of human inbreeding. For her, that phrase describes daily life. Doctors debate her symptoms. Clerics search for meaning. Enemies abroad mock her image as proof that the dynasty rots from inside. People talk about her constantly. Few talk to her as a full person. She learns to smile through examinations and remain still while others decide her worth. That worth narrows to one question that controls her future. Who will marry her, and at what cost? She faced marriage struggles because politics mattered more than her health. By 15, she hears her name whispered in rooms she never enters. Marriage talks turn her life into numbers on paper. Royal marriages secure land, armies, and peace. Health matters only after power. Margarita Teresa of Spain, daughter of Philip IV and Mariana of Austria, herself an uncle-niece union, marries her double first cousin and uncle, Emperor Leopold I, to bind Spanish and Austrian power. Letters praise her sweetness. Quiet notes mention dead siblings and frailty. Our princess stands in the same position. Her jaw and illness lower her appeal. Strong kingdoms hesitate. Smaller states accept the risk for the prestige of her name. She becomes, as one historian later says, political currency shaped in human flesh. Nobody asks what she wants. When rumors reach her, agreements already near completion. Confessors urge obedience. Doctors promise she can manage with care. Their status depends on optimism. Many royal women in this web die young after brutal pregnancies. Margarita Teresa gives birth several times, yet only one child lives, and she dies at 21. Her halls fill with portraits of aunts who never grow old. Marriage offers jewels and ceremony. It also brings pressure to a body already strained. That pressure sharpens once she becomes a wife,
because one demand now dominates her existence: an heir. She faced pressure to produce heirs despite her fragile condition. The wedding ends and the counting starts. Each empty month feels heavier than bells. A royal woman's value rests on children. The Spanish Habsburg record tells a bleak story. Infants die quickly. Young heirs suffer seizures and weakness. Studies later link high inbreeding with stillbirths, infertility, and the end of the Spanish line itself. She enters this cycle knowing foreign policy rests on her body. Advisors assume sons will come. Priests preach fruitfulness. Midwives count miscarriages in silence. Pregnancy drains her deeply. Sickness stretches longer. Recovery slows. When a baby survives, everyone studies its face. A chin too sharp sparks rumors. When a child dies, blame falls on her habits or faith. Some whisper about curses, just as people once blamed sorcery for Charles II's disabilities. She mourns each tiny coffin in the chapel. The dynasty counts baptisms. She counts nights spent in pain. That gap poisons her standing at court. Soon, blame finds a voice. She was blamed in court gossip for royal genetic problems. At table, praise flows. Afterward, whispers sharpen. Courts need explanations. Failed harvests blame kings. Dead heirs blame mothers. Chroniclers describe Charles II as bewitched, preferring magic to the truth of cousin marriage. Her own defects invite similar stories about sin or divine punishment. Nobody speaks of genes. Morality fills the gap. A changing face becomes pride made visible. A sick child becomes proof of hidden wrongs. Portraits of ancestors surround her, yet judgment lands on her alone. Foreign rivals spread these tales eagerly, calling the Habsburgs weak in body and mind, while naming women as the cause. Sermons add weight, warning that power corrupts blood. She listens, calm outside, fearful inside. Over time, gossip turns into policy. If she damages the image, she must disappear. She lived in isolation because royals hid what looked imperfect. The palace grows quieter around her. Doors close gently. European houses often hide relatives who complicate their image. Some disabled royals live in convents or remote estates. Archduchess Marie Anne of Austria lives mostly unseen due to epilepsy linked to inbreeding. She feels the same fading. Isolation begins softly. More prayer. Fewer visitors. Another woman stands beside the queen during ceremonies. Her world shrinks to rooms, gardens, and chapels. This protects the dynasty from scrutiny and eases political planning. For her, it steals music, friends, and freedom. Loneliness settles in, heavy and constant. Luxury remains. Silk, silver, and art fill her rooms. None of it hides the truth. She is no longer a princess on display. She is evidence stored away. She lived a royal life that felt more like a beautiful prison. From outside, her life looks blessed. Born royal, dressed in gold, served endlessly. Inside, it feels trapped. Her family's marriage rules grant power and steal health.
Genetic studies of thousands of Habsburgs show the same pattern. As inbreeding rises, deformity, infertility, and death follow. By the time Charles II rules with a coefficient of 0.254, the Spanish line collapses. She lives in the middle of that fall. A famous name opens doors. Her body closes them again. Privilege gives comfort, but steals choice. She cannot refuse marriage, children, or even solitude. The prison has no bars. It has tapestries and marble floors. Its walls are decisions made long before her birth, written into her body, and enforced by a world that values pure blood more than the quiet suffering of one inbred princess. That crown carried secrets, pain, and silence. You've seen one truth, but history holds more waiting. Stay curious, follow the thread, and step into the next story before it closes.